There is no place quite like Road Atlanta for drivers and teams alike. A circuit that is rather simple yet challenging relative to the length of the circuit and also all that it offers. Nestled along the hills of Braselton, Georgia is Road Atlanta, and this is the home of various racing events such as the Petit Le Mans and also various sports cars and open wheeler events of past and present. And tonight, the Formula 3 cars come to this circuit for round 8 of the SimRacers Asia Formula Series here on Apex Racing TV. Alongside myself tonight, Daniel Lead and Scott Newton behind the cameras. My name is Wei-Han Chan. Daniel, it's been such a long time since we've been on the booth together. How have you been?
Yeah, good morning, Wehan, and to all the viewers tuning in. Yeah, it has been quite a long time, mate. Very much looking forward to this. And as you say, great circuit for us to be doing this here at Road Atlanta.
Oh, sure it is. Now, well, race 1 is just about to go underway, and we shall go through the starting grid. Starting grid by SDK Gaming. Starting from pole is Min Park from iRacing Korea, and alongside himself, fellow Korean-Canadian driver Tae Kim of Eurasia SimSport Hawks will begin from P2. Second row, Ru Kuistra and Benjamin Brook. Third row, Mark Lang and Mark Winter, the two marks of this race. From P7 and P8 will be Thanks, Scott. From P7 and P8, beginning from P7 and P8 will be Im Jo Hyuk and Niranjan Kumar, and rounding up the top 10 of... I do apologize, I think we have indeed gotten the starting grid all messed up. Starting from pole is Muhammad Ibrahim, and joining him, alongside him on the front row is Luca Fioravanti. Niranjan Kumar and Muhammad Alif starts from the second row. Tae Kim and Jaswin Jali begin from 5th and 6th. Benjamin Brook and Mark Winter 7th and 8th. Rukoistra and Im Jo Hyuk begin round of the top 10 starters of this race. Mark Lang, Kevin Huang, Stephen Bacade, Fuji Satono, and Min Park will round off the grid of 15 strong here at Road Atlanta.
Yeah, we currently got the guys going around on their opening warm-up lap. A couple of key points we really need to keep an eye on tonight here, Wehan. Turns 1, 2, and 3, the complexes, they run downhill, all single-file racing action. And then at the back of the straight, which we're currently going down, turns 10A, 10B, getting through that final chicane is going to provide a great passing opportunity, along with setting your run up over the crest of the hill down through turn 12 onto the front straight again. So I think with all the cars out there tonight being in the Dallara Formula 3, the racing itself should be very close. And a little unfortunate we don't see anyone in the Lotus 79. We know formerly that was driven by Mark Lang, series organiser, but not out there tonight, unfortunately.
Very much so. A circuit with, good elevation changes. Is sure going to throw things in the spanner, a spanner in the works rather, for the drivers here tonight as they make their way through this chicane, which we will most likely see quite a lot of passing action. And here they come. This is where I believe the Formula Drift round takes place. As the safety car filters in, the hills of Braselton come alive as we go green. Muhammad Ibrahim gets a great start with Luca Fioravanti not far behind, and they go too wide there between Muhammad Alif and Niranjan Kumar. Huge drama in the background as they make their way through turn 1. Muhammad Ibrahim leads this front field pack of, I think, the top 10. As all around goes one of the cars. I think it looks like Muhammad Ibrahim has gotten himself unstuck. And the new race leader, Muhammad Alif, leads Niranjan Kumar down the S's and onto this left-hander, which will set themselves up for the next part of what Road Atlanta will offer.
Yeah, definitely. A little bit of an untidy start from a couple of competitors there. I think it was Mark Winter and Imjuk Hyung having a bit of issue there and finding themselves back in the pit lane. But a couple of unforced errors up over the top of the hill. But everyone else seems to have got themselves down into a nice single file run. Muhammad Alif got himself a great run out front now. Got it opening up a bit of a gap, 0.6 of a second, which is ideally what he wants. We've got a few cars in the background trying to shake the slipstream off each other, and these guys coming to the end of turn 1, and we're already starting to see some moves down into turn 10A and 10B.
Oh, sure, guys. They make their way through the final corner and what will soon be through over the start-finish line for the first or second time this race. Muhammad Ali, your new race leader, and Niranjan Kumar leads a pack of 3. Battle for P2, as it does look like Tae Kim is going to come for the run down the inside to take P2 from Niranjan Kumar. They're now battling it side by side as they make their way through turns 2 and the crest over turn 3. Over the cones go Niranjan Kumar, and that kind of returns, or that seeds P2 up to Kim Tae. And they make their way down the SS. This is a very tight freight train from positions 2 down through to the 7th car.
Yeah, definitely. Certainly 2 places around here where we see these guys going too wide, some more action in the back there. But Ibrahim got himself a lot of work at the moment. He's got Brooke just around behind him there, so he's coming back after that earlier.
Sure, yes. Muhammad Ibrahim currently pushed to the 5th position, as I do believe he's coming under a little bit of weather from the cars behind him. Jasmine Jali and Niranjan Kumar jostle for the 3rd, for P3, as they make their way into the final chicane. Around goes Jasmine, and up in the air. It appears that he's been launched out by another car back there.
Yeah, surprising to see a little bit of an unforced error there from Yali. We know how quick he's been earlier on in the season in that car, and for a driver that's currently sitting 4th in the standings, not ideal for what he wants to see here tonight.
Very much imagine so. Of course, over here in the field and out wide, when I'm not too sure which car that is. I mean, it does look like it might have been. Can't exactly tell who that was. Benjamin Brooke currently in P5 and is coming under a bit of pressure from Muhammad Ibrahim, pushed down to P6. They come around turn 10, which is relatively easy compared to turn 10B right here, which is very crucial for the drivers to get right. As we ride on board Muhammad Ibrahim, as he's just gotten a great exit out of turn 10B and is going for a good run down this back stretch. Taking a slipstream from Benjamin Brooke, he comes along drag race here down the back stretch, and he's going to edge out Muhammad Ibrahim up into the braking zone. But is Ibrahim able to hold off Benjamin to claim P5? He does that. And now down to the final corner, he comes with 5th position under his belt.
Yeah, it was a very strong move there, down around the outside into turn A there, and he's trying to get on a job. He's got a lot of work if he wants to get back up towards the front. Muhammad Ali really starting to open the gap now to Tae Kim. That gap almost at 4 seconds, and we're only 3 laps into this race.
So yeah, the gap that Alif has ahead of the rest of the grid seems to be at around 4 seconds. Yes, Alif is 4 seconds ahead of the rest of the grid, and it does appear that he's coming upon some lapped traffic that Red Bull Formula 3 car. Drag race down the back stretch. Of course, Alif making use of this good slipstream that will most certainly lengthen his advantage over the rest of the grid. Because the back marker there seeding moving over for him to make his way through, and over the crest of the final corner comes Alif. He sealed himself quite a comfortable position to be in, as we now look at Niranjan Kumar, who currently sits in 3rd, and he's fending off P4 from Muhammad Ibrahim.
Yeah, and with that move from Muhammad, he was getting himself past Mark Winters there, who we saw having those issues earlier on. Niranjan Kumar sitting pretty comfortable in 3rd. The gap to Tae Kim just on the verge of 1 second now between these guys, but they've managed to get themselves a really nice gap over Muhammad Ibrahim to about 3.5 seconds. So good little work between these two, not really fighting for it, but the battle pretty much from 4th, 5th and 6th starting to heat up as well. These guys not leaving a lot on the table here. There's only half a second generally between these cars a little further back, but at the front with Kumar trying to get a draft, but just not quite close enough with being that 1 second behind at the moment.
A little bit further down the field, it does look like Stephen Burkade and probably Benjamin Brook and Mark Lang have been having a battle. Yeah, so we are riding on board Rue Koistra up to P5. Rather maybe down after he lost the position to Muhammad Ibrahim. He sits in P5 and he is a second behind Ibrahim, so it will take some work for him to make his way up. Luca Fioravanti seems to be suffering from some connection issues, and he is blinking in and out of P6. So it is quite an uncomfortable situation that Luca has found himself in. That is just appearing on screen, and now he's probably disappeared.
Yeah, definitely, and that'll actually be unsettling Koistra as well, knowing that there is someone behind who does have those issues. Does make it a little bit unnerving knowing where he's going to stick the car and whether there is likely to be a contact there. So something for Fioravanti to have a look at. Maybe the connection will come back a little through the race, or is able to do something with it during the little short transition between races 1 and 2. But yeah, certainly for the moment, Koistra will just need to be very wary of that.
Stephen Burkade versus Fuji Satono. Always good to see the both of them from Eurasia SimSports Guardians fighting it at this part of the grid. Because what's good about SimRacers Asia is that the competition isn't only active at the pointy end of the grid. Elsewhere throughout, we've also got some good moves by drivers of all skill levels, and this is always welcoming to see. An inclusive series of sorts that we've come to enjoy. Stephen Burkade sits in P9 and Fuji Satono leads him in P8. Yeah,
and as you say, I mean, the series does cater itself a lot to guys looking to either start out in the categories, whether it be GT or Formula 3, depending on what's being run at the time. But you can have guys that have been there for quite a long time. I know Steve Burkade's been there for almost as long as I've known the series, and good to see him still having a run around and enjoying his time in doing.
Absolutely, a good shot of the cars making their way down the Eracers. I think it's Min Park of iRacing Korea in the background there. And further up front, it looks like Benjamin Brook and Mark Lang going for it. Mark going for a P6. Good, always good to see him fighting strong up here. Because I may not have seen him up here that much. Benjamin Brook takes P6 and he sits 15 seconds behind P5, currently held by Rue Koistra.
Yeah, that's a long gap to have. Only 8 minutes into this race so far, and 15-second difference there. That's a huge margin for those guys. Ultimately, that would have come down to the opening lap where there was a few tardy passes and guys going off, but. It looks like we're going to be in for a race of basically two battles, third, fourth, fifth, right up on it at the moment with Ibrahim's Kumar and Koistra, and then this little battle that we're focusing on with Brook Lang and Centenaro. So the guy's doing very, very well out there. Looks like Ibrahim's still got himself a nice little gap, but Koistra now back up on the back of Narendran Kumar, and we're going to probably see a change of position just behind this little group here as well very soon.
Muhammad Ibrahim with a little bit of comfort space behind him as the gap between Muhammad Ibrahim and Niranjan Kumar sit at more than 2 seconds. Riding on board Rue Koistra in his orange Dallara Formula 3 as he takes the slipstream of Niranjan Kumar down the chicane. Is he going to go for a move, commit to the move down the chicane? No, not close enough for him to make that move. And now he comes over the crest, where he'll then approach the final corner. Now, this is also one of the more exciting corners. I think certainly one of the favorites that many drivers have, because this is where you kind of push the car literally to the edge. And now they make their way through turn 1, using a little bit of the tarmac there to assist in the turn-in, across turn 2 as well, and they make their way over this bumpy curb. As you just seen that Niranjan Kumar made a little bit of mistake over that curb. Of course, you always have to be careful, especially in these Formula 3 cars, which are always ever so slightly unstable. Round this corner, perfectly executed corner exit there with good use of the exit curve. Around turn 10, it is rather easy to take this corner as it is banked, but this turn 10B, where it's not banked, you have to absolutely nail the racing line in order to set yourself up for this long stretch to come. This is a rinse and repeat as Ruko right now sits in the slipstream of Niranjan Kumar. He comes along the right. And is he going to go up for a move for P4? I think he's got P4 under the belt as they now approach the braking zone for this chicane right here. Ruko Isra up to P4 and Niranjan Kumar relegated to P5.
Yeah, that was a great move there for Croyster. He set that up from a long way back. Basically, pretty much the whole lap before, got a fantastic run over the hill and down through the S's there. And we'll see now whether Kamar's able to return serve. He's going to find himself with a really good tow down through the first half of this circuit. And as you mentioned, getting these cars working well up over the curves is going to be key here tonight. We've seen in previous races, be it the GTs, and guys not quite able to get the car working over those curbs do find themselves in a lot of trouble, especially through there, which actually looks like Kamar's actually found himself into the wall. So we'll see whether we can potentially get a quick look back on the replay there if possible, and we'll see what's happened to Kamar here.
Over this left-hander, I think he's just gone a little bit too much more than comfortable over that exit curb, you know. With perhaps a more stable car, it's perfectly fine to take that curb, eat that curb. But with this car, it's, you know, you just have to be more conscious of how much of the curb you took there. He took a little bit too much and off into the inside wall he went. And I think now he's kind of lost the use of his rear spoiler.
Yeah, definitely. And that corner there is very tricky regardless of the car you're in. And yeah, we'll continue to catch people out for many more races in years to come. But we've got a great little scrap here with Mark Lang and Fuji Satanaran down for 7th and 8th at the moment. These guys very close together, teammates as well for Eurasia Sim Sports, and driving between themselves very, very close. They've actually been able to stretch the gap a touch over Steve McCade now to 2.5 seconds. So Mark certainly looks to have got himself a real good handle on this Dallara Formula 3 and able to take it up with the rest of the guys.
Round turn 1 and 2, they come, and Fuji always looking for a move up the rear of, cross the rear end of Mark. Make it as they now have a good battle, a good run down the S's and the left-hander they come. Shall we ride on board Fuji's car, please, Scott? Fantastic, riding on board. Thanks, Scott. Riding on board Fuji as we observe the line takes. Oh wow, a little bit of mistake by Mark, and this is going to be a good exit of corner 10B that Fuji has just gotten. Sitting in the slipstream of Mark. They've got consistent speed, and now they're just gonna run top speed down this backstretch. Mark going a little bit more defensive along the inside there, and they break for the chicane.
Yeah, both cars looking very equally set up as far as straight line speed there goes. Fuji not really able to gain much on Mark at all, but he is now starting to suffer a little bit of connection issue, which we saw earlier on Ferravati. So a couple of guys tonight not having the best luck with their connection to the server, and hopefully that'll settle itself down very close or very soon, because that's not really going to help Mark out much at all.
As they inch closer towards each other, nose to tail, I think that gap has just extended. It's just the effects of perhaps what the S's would seem like, because the average speed down the S's is a little bit less, so you tend to find yourself closer up to the rear end of the car in front of you, because now they make their way through this part again. You know, I think with Road Atlanta, it's just about, you know, getting yourself closer and closer, setting yourself up lap after lap in order to make that one good move happen when you're ready.
Yeah, definitely it does. It's certainly a circuit that requires you to really flow the car through it and keep the momentum up so you can go through. It looks like a little further down for 10th and 11th at the moment, we've got Kevin Huang and Kamar having a little battle, a couple of more Eurasia Sim Sports team members, and quite a change from what we've seen in previous seasons with Kevin Huang being so far down the order, and this is not like him at all. So hopefully he's able to get himself back up on form with that car, but certainly not got the pace in the Dallara tonight that we would have expected from someone of his caliber. But these guys still going at it. Looks like Satano and Lang is still battling for 6th and 7th, and then Karoistra trying to get up on the back of Kim as well. So we've got a couple of little battles still going on out there tonight, and the guys working their way towards the end of this first 20 minutes with 4.5 minutes left on the clock, and doing a very, very good job.
Absolutely right. Everyone putting up a good show for all of us here to enjoy. Kim Tae in 3rd as he sits behind Muhammad Ibrahim and has the pressure in the form of Rukoistra, who is just 0.8 of a second behind him. They make their way down this part of the circuit and down to the S's. So this is going to be a place where you have to get the best line through this section in order to get a good exit out of this corner.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I think we might have also had a little issue there for Sartno. We didn't get to quite pick that up on the cameras, but he's dropped a long way down off the back of Mark Lang, finds himself down in 9th now. So a little unforced error there, and we'll keep an eye to see where he falls back in. But a couple of cars that have unfortunately come to an end for tonight. We've got Yali and Joachim, both unfortunately unable to make it. Firavati looks to be back out on circulating again, but does find himself 6 laps down, so a long way for him here, but he will find himself another chance for redemption in race 2. But the guys we haven't really spoke of a lot up the front, Kim and Kroistra starting to come back into a good little battle. Muhammad Alif, we've got up on screen now, got a pretty commanding gap. It has dropped a little bit from himself to Ibrahim earlier on, out to 3.5 seconds. The gap now 1.5 seconds, and these guys might start putting on a little bit of a show for us at the back end of race 1.
Absolutely. Muhammad Ibrahim climbed all the way up the first few cars, I think, throughout the race, and he's now found himself up here behind Muhammad Ali. Both of them fast drivers of this series, and it is going to be good to see the both of them battle out either this time or in the next race when the both of them will be fielded next to each other. Gap between them sits at 1.3 seconds. And with not much time left on the clock, it is going to be not exactly a battle to a finish, but there should still be time for Ibrahim to consider his move.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like, too, we've just had a little change of position for 3rd as well. Kroistra managing to get past Kim as well. These guys are going to scrap it out for the next couple of laps, I dare say, trying to go the outside through turn 12, not a move or a place where you want to be in any car, regardless of being GT or Formula. So we're going to pop up the replay here. I think this will be another strong move down into turn 10 by Kroistra, and yeah, down the inside. Not really much of a challenge, and he gets that move completed just before turn-in and able to start working on getting the drive out of the car. He does have a lap car in Mark Winners ahead of him, however.
Back to live pictures. Rukoistra now, I think his turn to have pressure from Kim Tae. Of course, nothing separates them as they make their way through turns 10A and B. Who's going to have the best exit of this corner, as I think they've nearly come into contact, and they have indeed come into contact. And that would set Kim Tae further back as he probably drops down to... No, I think that's Benjamin Brook, who's gone down to P5. Muhammad Alif leads Muhammad Ibrahim through this last corner as they prepare themselves for a final lap of racing. Good battling there, defensive driving by Alif. Always good to see this kind of action take place here and there as he makes his way through turn 3. Because having gotten that corner, nailed that corner, and he makes his way down the S's.
Yeah, it's going to be a show-stopping last lap battle for these two guys. Both of them want to get a win. Will certainly help strengthen their positions, both of them in the championship here. And if anything, Muhammad got a slightly better run through the final corner there, up onto turn 6. They exit turn 7 now. Both cars very, very strong. Similar sort of drive, but this is really going to help Ibrahim here, getting a nice toe down the back straight.
Alif will have to be strategic in selecting the line of choice down this straight as he's trying. In fact, he's weaving not towards but away from Ibrahim as they now come towards the braking. So this is going to be so dicey as Muhammad Ibrahim goes along the inside for a move. Contact! And last lap incident. And that is going to play against the favor of Muhammad Ibrahim as Alif comes around the final corner. Is this going to be checkered flag?
Yes, it will. So both of them come to the flag there. That'll certainly be a pass that'll get the attention of the stewards, and they'll review that. So it looks like both Muhammad Ibrahim and Muhammad Alif both come across the line. We're just waiting for Croyster's jumped over in third, so that's our top three done and dusted. Massive gap back to fourth to Brook. He hasn't come across the line yet. He's finding himself down in turn 12 right now. We've got Mark Lang up on screen, and it looks like some damage too for Tai Kim. That car in all sorts of trouble.
A close shave there by the other car who made his way across past Kim Tae. Niranjan Kumar sitting in 8th, rather an incident earlier on. And now he makes his way through the final corner to take P8 for race 1. And this could mean a pole start for the next round.
Yeah, definitely. We're just going to see whether Kim Tai is able to get his car home across the line. I believe, and you might be able to correct me here, Wihan, I believe it's the top 10 will reverse for race 2. And if that is the case, we're going to see first 8. So actually we'll see Kamar getting himself on the start here. So that will be very, very good.
Kim Tae wheeling his car across the down the final corner across the start finish line. I guess what's convenient about this circuit is that if in the event that something happens to your car, you can just clutch in and coast your car down this final corner on towards the start finish line. Starting grid for race 2. As I prepare to load that up, Niranjan Kumar started from P8 in race 1. Sorry.
As I was going to say, Niranjan Kumar will start pole position. Fuji Satno will start in 2nd. Steve McCade up into 3rd with Mark Lang in 4th. Benjamin Brook starting out of 5th for race 2 with Roy Krustra in 6th. Muhammad Ibrahim drops down to 7th as a result of the reverse grid for the top 8. Muhammad Alif down in 8th position. And then we'll have Min Park with Tai Kim alongside him in row 5. Mark Winters, Kevin Huang in 12th. And then for the back of the grid, we will have Luca Faravati, Yasrin Yali, and Joy Kim at the back. So 15 cars about to get back underway for race 2. Slightly longer for this second race. And while we've got these guys going around, we best give a bit of a shout out to the sponsors helping continue this series on.
Absolutely, Daniel. A special shout out to the sponsors of SimRacing Asia, the league who have made the broadcast and the execution of this series all the more convenient and more possible. Of course, a shout out to SIMMSA, the Macau-China SimRacing Association, and the SimRacing Association of Singapore, who have graciously come aboard to do what this series has promised to do, to provide us with good shows and also good racing opportunities in this region of the world for everyone to enjoy.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see now with the guys going through the warm-up procedure for race 2. We did have 3 non-finishers last time out for race 1. Hopefully we'll see all 15 cars get across the grid and be able to have some good showing. We did get a lot of gap breakup after the first couple of corners in race 1, so hopefully that's nullified for race 2, and we do get to see some really close racing between all competitors. We will quickly do, while we just go around the back half of this circuit, we will recap just the top 5 in the points position as well, following the last week out. And Tai Kim currently leading the way on 442 points. Muhammad Alif, race 1 winner tonight, in second place on 420. Amin Haziq down in third. Unfortunately not running tonight, but sits in third for YLab Motorsport 370. Yazrin Yali, who we still have a few issues there, sitting in fourth, and Mohammed Ibrahim in fifth outright in the standings. So the top half dozen pretty close together, and with some good results over the next few races, we've come to sort of the back end of this championship. They're certainly going to find themselves in a good spot to go for the title.
The safety car leads the field across the final chicane for yet another time tonight as the car prepares itself for the entry into the pits. Oh, is this going to be a bit dicey as Niranjan Kumar goes for an early start? We go green again at Road Atlanta for the second time tonight. Fuji Satono appears to be with the race lead, and a little bit of contact there as we now observe Niranjan Kumar and Fuji Satono, both of them square for the lead. Each incident there in the background that we can hear, as now it is just going to be between Fuji and Niranjan as we have for ourselves a great start, minus a few perhaps possible incidents that have just taken place earlier on. Fuji leads race 2's grid.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a Eurasia Sim Sports front now following that reverse grid, with Satono Kumar still battling down into turn 6, and then behind them 3 wide action from the guys who took the win last time by working their way back up through the field. It looks like we did have a couple of issues with Kim and Min Park getting into some damage a little early on, and they're a long way back off the back of this train here. But up front, we've got some really good battles with these faster cars starting to work their way through.
Drag race down the backstretch between Satono and Kumar, and who's going to edge out as they make their way through the braking zone? Kumar gets the advantage, and he currently holds the race lead. Because great battle down there, down the backstretch. It does appear that Fuji might have gotten himself a jump start penalty as he just made his way down the pit entrance, which could explain why Niranjan Kumar has the advantage at this point. Rukoistra in P2 and Mark Lang in third at the moment. Benjamin Broke, Mohammed Ibrahim go side by side through turn 3, and this is going to be a good drive down the S's.
Yeah, absolutely. Not a lot of racing room given, but enough just to get all the cars going through. It looks like a spinner in the background. Actually, we had a couple of spinners here just now, so we'll have to just wait for that to unsettle, and we'll check who was involved in that. But a couple of cars going around in the same spot on the exit of turn.
Sure, it would appear so. Benjamin Broke in third as he sits behind Ruko Israel. Coming under a lot of pressure from Muhammad Ibrahim in P4, because already on their way up to contend for the race lead. Muhammad Ibrahim along the inside of Benjamin Broke as they go braking into the braking zone for the chicane. Sorry. And Ibrahim gets the move done, and he goes up to P3.
Yeah, it was a strong move there from Ibrahim. Looks like a little bit of damage on that car. Has lost the rear wing, slightly turning that F3, I think, into a Formula Ford almost, and he's still getting on with it, as actually he's still got it. My system coming up to date. But yeah, the battle's still very strong. Ibrahim up now into third and chasing hard after Kroistra. Only 9/10 of a second ahead for these guys here. And I think actually Kamar's had a spin on the exit of 5, so we'll see if anyone else gets involved in that one. But that opens the door for Kroistra now to take the current race lead, and here we are on the replay.
Second time's a charm, I guess. I think this was exactly why he made the spin earlier on. Well, look, across that final corner, the curbs of Road Atlanta can be a little bit unforgiving at times. But I guess he made the incident mid-corner, and around he went along the exit of that corner. He currently sits in P7, and I guess that could be, not too sure who that is. Muhammad Ali in third at the moment with Muhammad Ibrahim in second. So this is going to be a good battle for P2 that may unfold very, very shortly. And it does look to seem to be that Benjamin Brook wants to have a slice of the pie as well, as he sits half a second behind Ali.
Yeah, absolutely. Not too far off the back of that. And looking at the pace last time by, he was actually he was 2 seconds slower last time by to Alif. So yeah, that will explain a couple of things. But it looks like he's trying to get his way back up there, down to a 1/10 of a second now as we're watching this battle unfold. Not quite able to get a move done through turn 7. Both cars get off turn 7 very, very nicely. And he'll find himself with a good toe down the back straight. Maybe a little far back at this point, though, being 8/10 off at the moment.
Fantastic exit by both cars as we ride on board Benjamin Brook. This is going to be a move along the right of Muhammad Ali. So I think Benjamin has just made the move up for P3 down the braking zone of the chicane, and Ali relegated down to P4. But I don't think he's done yet as he comes upon this final right-hander. It's going to be exciting as we watch this unfold on the next few laps. Rukoistra, your race leader, and he sits 4/10 of a second ahead of Muhammad Ibrahim. So this is going to be a potential battle in the next corners to come.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we'll see probably a repeat move down the back straight again to what we just saw before for Brook and Muhammad there. So we'll keep an eye for that. But at the moment, looking at the lap times, Ibrahim's certainly got it all over. It was 1.1 seconds faster last time by and has really managed to shut down that gap to Kroistra. So look for a change of position here. I think Kroistra will probably try and defend this a little more than what we saw last move there for Brook and Muhammad. But we'll keep an eye on it. Both cars starting to jink all over the road. Ibrahim with a really solid toe, but does have that inside run now.
Here they come. Ibrahim along the inside of the first of the chicane, and he goes up and leads the race. And Rukoistra goes down to P2. Fantastic move by both drivers to make that happen. Benjamin Brook sits in third. As this is going, well, this doesn't get better, does it, Daniel?
No, not at all. I think we're going to see some real good turn of speed now with Ibrahim being out front. Doesn't have the issue that he had last time by with his battle with, I think it was Kamar last time by. So we'll should see the real pace of that car start to show as he's already extended the gap now to 1.4 seconds. And he's really got his mindset on taking the double here tonight. Looks like everyone else, though, further down the field has really managed to start stringing themselves out. We have had a couple of retirements early on. It looks like Im and Bacade, Winters and Huang all out of this one at the moment. And that's 4 cars out of the 15. Not ideal for these guys, but hopefully they'll be able to get back out again next week and put on a slightly better run. But yeah, up front, Ibrahim doing a really solid job. The gap didn't really increase much through that middle section, still 1.5 seconds, but they've got quite a good gap now and extending it over Benjamin Brook in third.
Fantastic show put up by all the drivers here, as I think that means that we've only got 10 cars on the lead lap. Let's have a look at perhaps any possible battles that may be unfolding in the background, or perhaps this may seem to be a little less competitive than race 1. Mark Lang in 7th, probably the same place as where he was in race 1. On race 1. And he sits comfortably ahead of Min Park in P8, and he's also around 3 seconds behind his teammate there in front, Take Him, who's currently in P6.
Yeah, definitely. And I just saw one of the guys working a little further down the field, currently last place, Firavati, managed to go through last time by and set the quickest lap of the race in a 1:13.1. So last time by 0.2 of a lap quicker than what we saw from Mohammed Ibrahim out front. So certainly got a good turn of speed still in that car there for him. So he's got a lot of work to do to catch back up on the field, currently going down the back straight here. But next contender for him to try and get past will be Mark Lang. Obviously, being a lap down shouldn't pose too much of an issue, but he's certainly trying to put on some good showing tonight and just show what he is capable of doing in that car.
As we observe him taking the final chicane, of course this is one of the good overtaking spots, and over the crest and around the final corner he comes. Yeah, that was quite close to the exit of that corner. So let's perhaps watch, listen and learn as we ride on board him for a lap and see if he may take us on another flyer this time. That was a great lap around Road Atlanta by Luca Fioravanti. I think his previous lap a 113.3, so that was a great lap.
Yeah, definitely. A couple of little things I did notice on the car, just we're sort of coming up to one of those through turn 6 and 7, does pick up a little bit of mid-corner understeer, which certainly won't be helping the time. If anything, taking a little bit away from the tyres as well. Looks like he got the nose in a bit better that time there. Through turn 7, he's got a lap car in Mark Lang just ahead of him. And just by comparison, as you say, last time by for Fioravanti was a 13.3. And Mark Lang last time by a 15.9, so quite a big difference in speed. And I don't think Mark will try and hold him up. We know Mark's very good at letting the quicker guys come through and continue on their race without too much of an impedance. And I don't think that we'll see that from either of these two competitors trying to cause an issue. But pretty much now all around this field, we've got some very big margins starting to open up between all the drivers at the moment. Mohammed Ibrahim out front with a 5.5 second lead over Roy Krustra, who in turn has a 4 second lead over Benjamin Book in third. So the guy's really strung out now.
Sure, it looks like the field has become a little more saturated, which may mean a little less racing action for us. But of course, these drivers are all super competitive, as we've seen in race 1. I do apologize. Niranjan Kumar in P5. So sorry. In P5, and I think he's one of the closer cars to Alif than the cars are in front of him. So it will take a little bit of time for these drivers to draw the gap a little bit closer. I think Kumar was up in the race lead earlier on, but because of the incident, he lost a couple of positions downwards.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, it looks like we've had a little bit of issue here as well. Kroistra dropped out of second place, finds himself in third with Mohammed Alif, now over him for a fourth position as well. So a little bit of an unforced error there. We've just got it up on screen with a bobble through turn 2 at the top of the hill there. Lucky not to be involved in anything as he turned the car around, but yeah, certainly dropped down the order now, finds himself back in third position at the moment with Muhammad Alif.
Fantastic, more show for us. Koistra leading Alif and Kumar, so this could become the next battle pack for us. It's going to be a battle for P3 as Koistra leads them down this downhill right-hander.
Yeah, all three cars getting a nice run down on the front straight. The gap staying pretty consistent at the moment. If anything, Kumar benefiting a little bit more from the draft, able to come through a little bit quicker. We'll see whether the guys can get here through turn 2, and they all look to manage that quite comfortably. A little bit of lap traffic ahead that they're going to potentially have to deal with as well. And I think that is Benjamin Brook. Actually, sorry, not lap traffic. That's Benjamin Brook in second position ahead of them. So not too far. If they're able to get up on the speed again, they might be able to bring this into a little 4-car battle.
So they're going to bring themselves closer to one another again, which is probably a good sign. It could well be that. It could also well be that Muhammad Ibrahim has pulled such a huge gap ahead of everyone else. Riding on board Niranjan Kumar, as this could be the emergence of a new 4-way battle pack for second position. As we observe the cars in front of him as he takes a toll and now approaches the braking zone for this final chicane.
Yeah, it looks like all the cars managing to get through nicely. Doesn't seem to be a lift there from Kumar through that final turn 12 corner there. He's able to go through with the foot to the floor at a minor lift through turn 1. Closing up 0.4 of a second now into turn 2. Gets a little bit further in on the brakes. See Muhammad just running a little wide, not quite getting the nose in on the corner, and actually maybe struggling a little bit for front tyre grip. He's really not quite there on the pace at the moment by comparison.
Oh, who's that? Who's gone around? I think it's one of
Ben Brook. Yeah, Ben Brook with an unforced error catches the curb on the inside of turn 5 and then again on the outside and loops the car around. Didn't hit the wall, which is a good thing, so we will be able to get back in without too much damage. But yeah, that certainly dropped him out of a great position in second place. With only 4 minutes to go, going to be very hard pressed now to get back up onto the podium.
This moves Alif and Niranjan Kumar up to 3rd and 4th respectively as they now battle for 3rd. This is going to be exciting. This is going to be a 2-wide down this downhill final corner. Close, quite close, but I think not close enough for them to go 2-wide, but this is them now taking the first corner. Side by side, they go through the first corner, nearly banging wheels there as Niranjan just edges out ever so slightly ahead of Alif. And this is going to be him leading Alif down the SS.
Yeah, Alif made that very hard for himself, going in with a really shallow line into turn 1, which does compromise you ultimately mid-corner speed, and with Kumar going all the way around the outside up through turn 1 there with that high momentum, able to get the move done and actually extend now to just on a second over Alif. So that turn of speed there, really, really good. And that, you know, that little issue there through turn 1, all you need to not only drop a place, but then lose a second in the meantime.
Absolutely. Niranjan currently in 3rd and Koistra still in 2nd. So I think this would more realistically be a battle for 2nd rather than for the race lead, because the gap has, it's just extending and extending. Kumar in 3rd as he makes his way. He's just made his way across that crest and he comes along the start-finish line for the final few times tonight. It's been a great show for all of us here who's tuning in to Apex Racing TV for this special race here at Road Atlanta. This circuit just packs full of surprises for all the drivers. Yeah,
definitely. And we might quickly jump up the front if we are able to, while we don't have any battles going on. Looks like Ibrahim just had a little bit of a moment there. He was actually almost about to pass the guys in 9th and 8th position. So we just got that up on screen at the moment. I think he might have just clipped the curb just a touch here on exit, actually mid-corner, loses it under acceleration. So he had quite a big lead there, able not to really lose any time. But, yeah, that gap did come down just a touch, still outwards of 11 seconds, so nothing to worry about for him there. Second, as you mentioned, Kroistra, 11 seconds off first, and then Kamar 3 seconds behind them. Alif probably could get back into this one if he hasn't got any damage on that car, but that gap, third to fourth, only 1.7 seconds.
Good showing up here at this pointy end of the grid. As this now means that there are only 9 cars on the lead lap. Goes with Muhammad Ibrahim in this interesting, beautiful-looking Mercedes Hankook livery that he's sporting on his car now as he makes his way through this part of the circuit. Down into turn 10, it's always nice to see the cars making their way through this corner nicely, and also this corner where he sets. That's right, he sets himself well for the exit. Lap traffic in front of him that he's going to be prepared, or rather he's going to have to prepare himself to tackle.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll just keep an eye on the timing screen as well. We're only 20 seconds to go 5 minutes to go to the end of this one. So we've got another 3 or 4 laps still in this race. And if anything, we might actually see him getting further up, maybe into the lapping up to 7th position. So we will keep an eye on that. We've got a little track map up at the moment just so you can see where all the cars are respective to everyone else on field. Gives you a little bit more of a visual representation other than just the timing difference there. So we see him climbing the hill through turns 1 and 2, getting that done there. Start now the run down through the S's, which the car looks really well settled for, able to get in nice and early through those corners and not really push out too much.
Stellar driving by Ibrahim all night long, because he came in second just last race, but now he has the race lead that he's going to very much use to his advantage. With just around 4 minutes or so of racing to go, he has built a gap, or the gap has in fact reduced to 13 seconds ahead of the next fastest driver, Rui Koistra, who's currently in second.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, now that he's got back underway after that spin a lap ago, he should continue to re-establish that lead. Croatia, take nothing away from him tonight. He's done a phenomenal job starting the second race tonight down in P6 following his 4th result last time out in race 1. So if he's able to maintain position coming home second tonight, certainly be a great feather in the cap for him. And from what we've seen of him all season long, he's been putting in some really good efforts, really starting to get a good handle on this car as well, which is working very, very well for him.
Daniel, this circuit I think is one of the more classic circuits of the iRacing service. So it's been here for such a long time, and which part of this circuit kind of attracts you the most, rather? Which part of this circuit kind of interests you more?
Look, I think realistically, looking at the layout of it, it's pretty much the circuit itself's pretty much got your attention. Pretty much all the way through the lap. There's not really a lot of time to think about where you need to go and what you've got to do. You maybe get a little bit of a half breather down the back straight, but from the moment you get across the line, up the hill through turns 1 and 2, and then back down it again, you're very much up on the wheel, having to work very, very hard. Going through the S's that we just saw Kroister dropping through is another great example of where you've got to be hitting those marks the whole way by. So as much as it's a lovely track and as you say, very classic design, it's one that doesn't give you a lot of opportunity to really rest and rethink where you need to go. You've got to be up on top of your game and pretty much the whole way through this circuit.
Sure, that's great to hear. Well, with not much time left in the race, Muhammad Ibrahim here, still your race leader. I think he's just made his move around a back marker, and he currently holds the race lead with just managing an average of 13 seconds of an advantage.
Yeah, it's been a phenomenal drive here from Ibrahim. Started second, I believe it was, for race one, and finished second race one. Started off the seventh position for race two with the reverse grid. Got himself a very commanding lead. Done it quite comfortably tonight with the pace in that car. He's managed to lap all the way up to eighth position. So just before, as you mentioned, he put a lap on Satano, which is a great effort, and Satano doing a good job generally. Got a lot of pace in that car. So we just got up here the delta times at the moment, just so you can get a bit of an eye on how the pace has gone in that car. You can see lap 15 where he had that spin. Did slow him down a long way, but other than that, he's been able to regain and get back up into the mid-13s and high 14s.
Fantastic show by this young man all night long. Because based in Malaysia, of course, coming from India, he's a karting driver in real life, and he's certainly putting all of his karting knowledge into sim racing here in this Formula 3 car as he rides the backstretch here for the last few times tonight.
Yeah, definitely. The car looking very solid through the 10A, 10B complex there. Drops down the hill to, I think, what might actually be the final time. No, we will get one more lap here tonight as the clock now clicks over to the 25-minute completion mark for the race. So this will be our final lap, and we'll keep an eye just to see how he goes. We do have a few cars a little further down, still battling hard as we drop back here to Min Park and Fuji Satano. Having a fight here for 7th and 8th. Satano still with a couple of little connection issues, but these guys looking to battle home for this last solid lap.
Fight towards the end. This is Min Park versus Luca Fioravanti. Of course, Luca suffering from race smart by some internet issues, but he is still fighting strong. And strong he is indeed. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's not Luca. It's Min Park and Fuji Satano. I got that. Oops. As we just said that, I think he's made a little bit of mistake through that right-hander. This is going to be Muhammad Ibrahim. Daniel, please have the honors of talking him to the finish.
Yeah, so Muhammad coming through the final complex here, down the hill to take what has been a astonishing win here tonight. Led for a lot of this race, had a lot of car pace out there tonight, and very solid consistency. Did have that minor little hiccup, which he was able to get back from. Second place, battling hard to the end of it. Kroistra and Muhammad Alif going at it for the last couple of corners here. Kroistra looks to have just got in the nose ahead and should retain second place, but Alif still working hard, and that's our podium positions there. So Ibrahim, Kroistra and Muhammad Alif getting home. Benjamin Brook probably ruining what could have been a great result for him. Had that spin down off turn 5, which dropped him down the order there, but able to come home and finish a solid 5th position tonight. Was a long way down off the lead as a result of that. We've got Yazrin Yali coming across the line in 6th place, so not the best result for him either tonight. Up still 8 spots. He had the DNF in race 1, so was able to come up with some good solid points, which will help him in the overall championship.
And I do believe that will round up, or rather the last of the finishers have made their way across the start-finish line. So let's go through your grid for the night show. Oh, it does look like Fuji is still out on track. He's probably going to make his move back into the pits any moment.
So up on field screen now, our finishing results. Muhammad Ibrahim taking a very strong win tonight for YLab Motorsports by 24 seconds over Roy Kroistra in 2nd place. Muhammad Alif comes home in 3rd. Benjamin Brook in 4th tonight. Mark Lang up in 5th, so that's a great result for him. Yazrin Yali managed to come back up into 6th after the DNF in race 1. Fuji Satano in 7th. Luca Ferravati in 8th. Min Park home in 9th with Nurjan Kumar in 10th. Tai Kim 11th. Kevin Huang in 12th. 13th tonight was Mark Winters, Steve Bacade in 14th, and Joy Kim in 15th. So we did have a few non-finishers tonight, but all in all, I think we saw some fantastic racing. So we'll just wait to see whether we do get any drivers jump up for a post-race interview here. But Weehan, of the two races you've seen tonight, mate, any standouts for you?
Oh, it has to be race one. The kind of the concentration of competition was just there in race one, and it kind of wasn't that concentrated, or rather, we probably didn't see the frequency of competition that kind of happened in race two, that as what we would have expected. But I think pretty much all the drivers have been doing great tonight. Of course, Ibrahim and Alif both are extremely capable drivers, and so is Ruko Istra and the other drivers, Benjamin Brook, and not to mention Luca Fioravanti, who's, if not for various incidents, I think he would have put up a strong fight tonight as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for some of the battling that we saw early on in race one, the guys put on a very good show. A little untidy, obviously, what we saw as they got away from the start of the race there, but the racing throughout that first 20 minutes really, really solid. And again, we saw some great battles all the way through race two, which was excellent to see. Ideally, I think Mark and the guys would love to have a little bit more driver competition throughout the championship. But having said that, the guys that are out there tonight still put on a fantastic show.
Let's wait around a little bit longer to see if we have any drivers who'd like to come up for post-race interviews. We do still have a little bit of time.
Yeah, while we do that too, we might just again recap the series sponsors tonight. We had, who was it? We had SIMMSA, SIMMSA out there, Macau-China SimRacing as well for their support tonight, and Mark Lang and the guys at SimRacers Asia for again putting on this championship, which has been going on for as long as I can remember, with being a participant in iRacing, at least 4 to 5 years now. And next week, we shift from the flowing nature of Road Atlanta. We're off to Silverstone GP. Quite a different setup for the guys to get their heads around next week.
Yeah, well, it is with the present layout that I think Silverstone has lost a little bit of the flow, but of course, Silverstone is still a classic, but with some modern twists in terms of layout and the flow of the circuit here and there. So Silverstone is going to be, I think, one of the better, rather a good track for open wheelers to race on, in terms of the competition that it can facilitate and also the overall driving experience. I think Silverstone is just going to be another fun, a little bit different, but yet still a fun place to drive cars, open wheelers, especially like these.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw last week a great bit of racing in the Aussie Mixed and Fixed series out there. And, with the slightly higher downforce that we're going to see with these Formula 3 cars out there, the racing probably likely to be just as competitive as what we saw.
Very much so. I guess we're coming towards what is going to be the end of yet another SimRacers Asia season of racing. I think there's been a lot of good competition that we've witnessed for ourselves, not just this season but also the season before this. Now, I think with the introduction of reintroduction of open wheelers into the sim racing scheme of competitions, I think it kind of adds a different dimension to what we usually expect conventional GT racing. It's always nice to throw in something different, especially when you're driving on track. You get to see from time to time, if you see a Lotus 79 in the midst of Formula 3 cars, it is always that interesting, and a bit of a controversy that keeps things going, which is always kind of nice to have.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's great to see them doing a few different things with the Sim Asia series. Obviously, GTs are the forefront of what they normally traditionally run, but having the options to go to the open wheel is still very.
Yeah, mate. Daniel, I think it might have been something wrong that I said tonight because I think there's nobody who's come aboard to look for us for interviews. But nonetheless, it's been a great show this season. I'm just so appreciative of you guys carrying this series for everyone to enjoy. Yes, let's wrap up. Thank you, Scott. We will do.
All right. Well, again, another great race here from the Sim Racers Asia series. Tomorrow night we have the Aussie Mixed and Fixed Championship up, which will be a great one to see. There is another broadcast coming up just after this one as well with the guys. But Weehan's certainly been fantastic to have you up in the booth again. Scott Newton, been great to have you covering the camera, so thank you very much for that. But to everyone out there, I think that will do us a bid for the night. So thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll certainly look forward to seeing you for next week's coverage of the Sim Racers Asia Championship out at Silverstone.